Welcome to PeaceTV. Today we bring to you the news of the war in Ukraine.
The Russian Defense Ministry said today that its forces used Kinzhal hypersonic missiles to destroy the Patriot anti-aircraft missile site in Kiev during an early morning raid on May 16th. Long-range precision strike missiles also targeted ammunition storage, weapons and military equipment provided by the West. All targets were hit, the Russian Defense Ministry said. The Russian military did not provide further details about the attack. This is the first time Russia has announced the destruction of the Patriot complex that the US transferred to Ukraine. If confirmed, this would be a huge loss to Ukraine's air defense network, because Patriot was once expected to be a weapon that could significantly change the situation in the sky over this country. General Valery Zaluzhny, commander of the Ukrainian army, previously said that Russia had launched 6 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles from MiG-31K fighters, 9 caliber cruise missiles from warships in the Black Sea, and 3 ballistic missiles Iskander, 6 unmanned aerial vehicles UAVs Shad-136-131, and 3 tactical and operational reconnaissance UAVs during the raid on Kiev early this morning. Ukraine's military claims to have shot down all 18 Russian missiles, including 6 Kinzhal hypersonic projectiles. Video on social networks shows that Ukraine's alleged Patriot complex fires 30 missiles in 2 minutes in response to an airstrike from Russia. However, after this series of missiles fired, a large flash of fire broke out in the air defense battle area, apparently caused by an enemy missile. Ukraine has not commented on the statement of destruction of the Patriot complex made by Russia. Ukrainian officials said the raid was the 8th airstrike on the capital Kiev since early May, and also an unusually intense attack, with the largest number of missiles in the shortest time, apparently, as to overload the enemy's air defense net. Ukraine's preliminary report said that more debris fell in the inner city of Kiev after the intercept, with the heaviest damage recorded in the Solomiansky district, where an uninhabited building and several vehicles caught fire. Russia has recently increased its airstrikes with drones and missiles on the capital Kiev and many other localities. The air defense network in Kiev is being significantly strengthened by modern Western complexes, notably the Patriot system, which helps Ukraine protect key targets. The Ukrainian military said that Russian forces are increasing their ambushes to assess and locate air defense complexes, as well as erode the enemy's air defense capabilities. 2 unnamed US officials said that Russia had discovered the location of the Patriot battlefield in Kiev and decided to attack with a Kinzhal hypersonic missile on the morning of May 4th. However, the attack failed when the Ukrainian military fired many Patriot shells to shoot down the Russian Kinzhal missile. During a recent multi-country tour of Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appealed for significant Western support. The trip, which lasted 3 days, saw Zelensky visit a range of European nations, including Italy, Vatican City, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. The purpose of the tour was to explore ways to supplement Ukraine's dwindling supply of weapons ahead of the long-anticipated spring offensive. Zelensky is seeking a long-term increase in political and military support from Europe to ensure that Ukraine can maintain its territorial integrity in the event of a successful counterattack, creating a favorable platform for peace. During the tour, Zelensky received commitments to support his country's inventory of missile storages, tanks, and unmanned aerial vehicles UAVs. Zelensky's international foreign policy regarding the 15-month conflict has helped persuade Western allies of Ukraine to send more powerful weapons, from Germany's Leopard tanks to the United States Patriot missile system and the United Kingdom's Storm Shadow long-range cruise missile. Patrick Berry, a senior lecturer in security at the University of Bath, believes this effort will help Zelensky prepare better for Ukraine's eventual counterattack against Russia. The direct briefing to European leaders shows that Zelensky is becoming increasingly confident with his foreign trips. On May 13th, prior to President Zelensky's visit, Germany announced a new military aid package for Ukraine worth €2.7 billion, €3 billion. This is Germany's largest weapons delivery since the conflict in Ukraine began. The aid package includes launchers for the IRIS-T missile defense system, an additional 30 Leopard 1 tanks, over 100 armored fighting vehicles, and more than 200 unmanned aerial vehicles for reconnaissance. Meanwhile, France will provide dozens of light tanks and armored vehicles, along with anti-aircraft systems. In the coming weeks, France will train and equip several companies with dozens of armored vehicles and light tanks, including the Amstan-Asi, a statement said. On May 15th, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak pledged to provide Kiev with more combat weapons to help enhance its defense capability and protect its territory. After confirming the transfer of the long-range Storm Shadow missile, the UK announced it would provide hundreds of anti-aircraft missiles and long-range attack UAVs. Sunak said the UK would participate in the Fighter Aircraft Alliance, a group of Western countries that will help Ukraine to develop and strengthen its air defense capabilities. However, the UK will not directly provide fighter jets such as F-16s to Ukraine, but will provide training to Ukrainian pilots on how to operate fighter jets according to NATO standards. The UK does not have any F-16s, but will work to encourage its allies to send these fighter jets to Kiev. Zelensky's plan to form an international fighter aircraft alliance to provide jets to Ukraine has encountered concerns from his allies and partners. NATO believes that providing fighter jets would mean further intervention in the ongoing conflict. Ukraine wants to supplement its fleet of Soviet-era fighter jets with American-made F-16s, but Washington has rejected this request. While Ukraine has received a stable supply of equipment from the West, the weapons announced last week may have already been transferred to Ukraine. Retired Deputy Admiral Michel Alhagari, former director of a senior military research center in France, said, "They can launch an attack with what they have, but it is not enough to sustain it in the long run. They will need support in the long run." In addition to military purposes, Zelensky's European tour also aims to mobilize political support. Zelensky began his European tour on May 13th in Rome, where he received warm commitments from Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. By calling Zelensky a friend and emphasizing their personal relationship, Meloni promised to provide Ukraine with whatever they need to win the conflict with Russia. She also said that any compromise leading to an unfair peace is unacceptable to Ukraine and Italy and poses a threat to the rest of Europe. François Heisbourg, a French defense and security analyst at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, said that Zelensky's European trip is part of a shopping tour for weapons and it seems to be very effective. Of course, another aspect of this trip is politics. For Zelensky, politics is just as important as purely military things, Heisbourg said.